Welcome to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. Here's your hosts, Drew and Dex.
All right, back at it once again. Episode 10 behind us. We're in the double digits now, and we're carrying on.
Yeah, man, it feels great. It feels like we really accomplished something.
Yeah.
in that sense, I mean, like something. We did it.
Actually, last episode was pretty popular. Like the stats on it, definitely one of our more popular episodes. And I was so hype after it because I made a reel.
Yeah.
And I tagged Brian from Leave It to Brian fame, Island of Brian, who
Yes.
we mentioned a few times. And he was the first like on that reel. And it was like he had to be on his phone, or more likely his assistant was on his account.
Or it's a fake account of Brian.
No, it was verified and everything. It was his account.
Man, that's cool. I was just beaking him last night because we were watching Stack TV, and there's like a little promo for his show, and there's just like a line where he's just like, "Hi, Deborah," and he's got that like cheese voice, and yeah, good for him. He likes our stuff. That's awesome. I feel like he liked it, and then didn't listen to it because it was choice.
You know what though? It wasn't like disrespecting him or anything. So, you know, he could have listened to it and been like, "Oh, that is funny. Like, what if I didn't get to the island where I'm supposed to be building this beautiful 5-star resort?"
Deborah, what if I didn't get to the island? That's his voice. That's his real voice. Yeah, wicked, man. We made it then.
Oh yeah, like honestly, we've peaked. I know we had set up the goal of having Tom Green on, but I will settle for Brian.
Just recently, we lowered that bar so quick. We're shooting for Tom Green, but we got Island of Brian.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, when I say that we accomplished something, I think a lot of people have asked me like, "Oh yeah, you got a podcast. Like, what's it for? Do you guys have like adverts? Is it like, do you work towards something?" I'm like, "Yeah, getting them out."
Yeah, that's like the only goal is like making time to record, which is like sometimes a feat in itself with like two dads.
Dude, we're doing a morning session today.
I know, this is weird.
This is cool. This is the Rad Dad's morning show.
Yeah.
Play that morning show jingle.
I got my coffee, got my bagels.
Loon dance. Yeah. That's so
that
sick.
was really like upbeat. Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting. This is like on your way to work, stuck in traffic. You just got cut off. I'm gonna kill you. And you got Rad Dads going on.
I won't lie. I'm on my third coffee. I've been dumping rum chata in my coffee all morning.
Little cum chata?
Oh yeah, I've been watching the Masters. Just get a little buzz on you.
I was surprised you even agreed to meet. I walked in and I was like, "Oh no way!"
That's all right. We'll be done. I can watch them finish their rounds.
Yeah,
half the guys haven't even teed off yet. So
VJ Singh,
he's playing, man.
Mike Weir's
playing. He's 1 under actually early on. So like that's pretty impressive. That's what I love about the Masters is now I'm gonna get into golf nerd talk.
Do it.
But I love the Masters.
The morning show. You got to talk about golf on the morning show.
Yeah. I love the Masters because Augusta National is a golf course that is built for like second shots. They call it a second shot course. You go to some of these newer courses, some of these smaller tournaments, and you can overpower the course. And they've talked about that, flighting down the golf balls for pros now, because you can make a hole 350 yards, and for an amateur, it's like, oh, that's a 2-shot hole, but these guys are driving the green.
And they're just
can't do that
big
at Augusta.
Dick swanging.
Yeah, you can't do that at Augusta. You do it on a couple holes, number 3, but you have to like hit good shots, and it makes for like good watching golf, and it's just the prestige and the history of it all. Anyway,
No, I honestly, I don't like, it wasn't on my calendar, but I remember the year that Tiger won it recently.
2019,
2019, and I think like down the stretch it was him, Brooks Koepka, and I want to say Molinari. Is that a name?
Yeah.
And he was like some dude that used to be a caddy and was just ripping it up. And my dude Ben was staying with us at the time, and like we started watching on Saturday, and by Sunday we were like diehard golf fans. Like we were glued. And then when Tiger won, we were like hugging and shit. We were fucking losing it.
And honestly, if there was one to watch, that was the one, just because it was obviously good golf and all of that, but it had the Tiger Woods storyline coming back from all the surgeries and all the shit that's gone on in his life.
His wife kicking his ass.
Yeah.
Him hitting up all those like B-grade prostitutes.
They weren't even prostitutes. They were like Denny's hostesses.
Is that a thing? Yeah, you know what? As I say that, I didn't know anything about the story.
Yeah, no.
I thought he was paying. I thought he was paying for pleasure.
No, he wasn't paying for it. And it's funny because like it shows you how much our society has changed and like how they call it the Overton window, the window of acceptable discussion has shifted. And back when he did that, everybody was like, what a piece of shit. Like cheating on his wife, which is objectively a bad thing to do.
Yes, please.
Yeah, let me just say that for my wife who's listening. Bad. But when you think about like where we are now and like people love Donald Trump and he was literally paying off strippers to like not talk about his weird misshapen dick.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, like he's here to save America, so it's okay. But remember when Tiger Woods got caught just consensually fucking a hostess who like is beneath him for sure. Like Tiger Woods could get at that point anyone in the world. And he was like, no, I want the Denny's hostess making like $7 an hour
good
plus
for him.
tips.
He's not choosy.
Yeah. So he was like,
that was crazy.
That was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, that wouldn't even register. It'd be like, oh, Tiger Woods cheated.
What did you call that? The Overton window?
The Overton window, yeah.
Man, I'm learning a lot from you today. That was nuts, by the way. Quick backtrack. Stormy Daniels, when they're like, he did this, Cohen paid me hush money. Like there's legal expense and all this stuff. And like she was just straight up like, and I can describe his penis in great detail. Like, it's like, I
was like, please don't.
Yeah, no, we're good. Cut to the next story. But I always like thought of that as being like a funny defense for Donald Trump. He's like, I'll prove it.
Just whips out his hog.
Just pulls his friggin' mini orange hog out with a comb over. And he's just like, told you. It's not my dick she's describing. And everyone's just like, he's innocent.
The glove does not fit. Just a total O.J. Simpson, like, dick out in the courtroom, yeah.
Oh, yeah, like the historical, like when we watch, like, how they have, like, Made in America, the O.J. story. Yeah. The, like, Donald Trump's, the story of his wiener.
I don't even like Donald Trump. Like, obviously not a fan of him.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Not to get
Free
too political.
Donald J.
Free
They
Don.
just indicted him on
No,
some
I'm not a big fan
bullshit.
of his. But if they were in the courtroom and they're reading descriptions of his dick and he's like, I can prove that's not true, gets up on the stand, lays his dick out on the stand, and it does not match the descriptions, he has to win the next election. Like, he has to.
I think they just call him president then. Yeah. I think the judge just like gavel, like, that's it. And in fact, we're never having another election. Like, this guy.
It's actually a little known amendment in the American Constitution.
if you flop it out and win your court case. Oh my God. I just want to clarify, Dex is not a Trumper, but we want to make sure like all of our listeners know, like, we cover the whole spectrum here.
We are certainly.
I'm straight Trumpin'.
I don't really claim to have like a political affiliation. Not a fan of his, but I do find his antics pretty funny sometimes. So
I was laughing, those NFTs that I think we made a joke about them.
We did,
just like after this indictment and all this shit, raising money, they're like skyrocketing. They're selling for like $1,700. And I was like, why didn't I fucking hop on and get laser eyeball Trump? Like, it would have been funny. It would have been a joke. I would have had it. And then I could have like made some cheese.
And actually make money off of it. Yeah.
A very viable investment.
I will say, like, he has so many people dedicated to him. And that's something that I guess I sort of weirdly admire about him, is that like this dude has just like captivated so many people. And he can do no wrong. He can do nothing wrong in the eyes of these people, and that's kind of cool.
That's kind of sweet.
It's kind of like it's sweet in like a cult leader sense, but it's like, I don't know.
What's that dude's name? I was just watching that. The dude from Waco.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Oh, come on.
I'll Google it right now.
Oh, come on. Well, actually, I want to get back because you said Overton window one more time. What is that? I really like that.
The Overton window is basically. It's used a lot in politics, and it's kind of the acceptable window of discussion. So, where kind of mainstream discussion falls. And the thing is, a lot of people talk about it with social media and how it has changed the Overton window, and it's expanded it to allow for more fringe and extreme views. And so that's why, before social media, you'd turn on the news and the Overton window was pretty narrow, right? Realistically, you compare, Stephen Harper to Justin Trudeau, and like they have differences, but there's really, like, when you get down to it, it's really not a lot of difference. People will say that they're very fringe extremes, but they're not. But the Overton window is expanded. And so now you have some of these more extreme views on both sides. So it's used a lot in politics, but I mean, it can kind of refer to anything.
When I'm thinking about it through like a a media lens, and because it's an interesting phenomena that I've never been able to articulate or describe, is just like this shift in political correctness. And I know that you and I deal with it a lot, but like, you know, I always think back to like grade 6, you know, like we're coming out of the Clinton era, and that was like very like you had to be very mindful in some ways, specifically politically, what you would say. Not that we were like engaged in politics in the 6th grade,
No.
but then like on a social level, we were like, that was the and like, you know, context here. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that was the your gay generation. That's so gay generation. Like you just like you like totally,
and it had nothing to do with like homophobia or anything like that. It's just if you didn't like something, you're like, that's gay.
Yeah, it's like it's super problematic, but like and like that's like the tip of the iceberg in terms of like the shit we were saying.
Yeah.
And like you know, fast forward to now, you know, we're kind of I want to say post wokeism. Like there's been like a direct rejection. There was a while there where like every single cause like was being highlighted, and you just literally like you had to tiptoe around everything. And this is not like me specifically, like I'm a big in, I gotta watch what I say now. But I just like
all those fun things I used to say.
All the fun things I used to say, I can't say them anymore. I just mean like collectively, like there's like a lot of like, hey, you can't say that. Like, whoa. Mm-hmm. And now like you see like a lot of comedians and a lot of like Donald Trump politicians like bringing it back in a huge way, and people eat it up. They're like coming out of the woodwork being like, I can say this shit again. Like it's a renaissance.
Yeah. I think, you know, that kind of speech operates on a pendulum, right? So it can swing one way where, you know, there was a period of time where, yeah, you were on the playground and you called everything gay. And it's good that we've gotten away from that because, you know, that's obviously not inclusive language, but you know, it swung the other way. And then it was like, well, you know, are we going to give anybody some grace for, you know, they were raised a certain way and maybe their dad always spoke that way or something like that, and they're trying to get out of that. But, you know, if you were raised that way for 20 years, are you going to flip on a dime? I mean, it would be nice if we all could change like that, but probably not, right? And so then the pendulum starts to come back the other way. And I think, you know, eventually it settles at a point, but I think we're sort of seeing that swing back, right? As you said, we kind of got into this like really politically correct, and there's a lot of good from that where it's like, okay, let's reassess how we talk.
Objectively not bad, being mindful of like 100%.
And now it's swinging back a little bit. It's like, okay, can we find, you know, a good place where, again, we can give people some grace, but we can also be knowledgeable and mindful of all of that. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. The pendulum's swinging back a little bit. So where does it settle?
Oh, and then when you said Overton window, it just made me think of that. And like, you know, we watch these reels all the time. And like, I think of like Shane Gillis and Theo Vaughn and Bobby Lee and some of the shit that like they are saying. And I'm like, you like 5 years ago, you're canceled. Like,
true.
You are getting tweeted at.
And I think you also have to understand that a lot of those guys are playing characters too, to a certain extent, right? Like, I'm sure there is an element of their actual personality in what they're doing. I'm not saying that these guys are totally fake or whatever, but they're stand-up comedians. They're characters, just like someone you might see on a TV show. You know, you watch, like, pick your favorite show, Ted Lasso. Well, Jason Sudeikis is not Ted Lasso when he leaves the set, right? Like, he's playing a character, right?
Interesting.
So I think there's an element of that where you can also give them a little bit of creative space to say something, because comedy is meant to shock you in a way. Whether it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm shocked to my core, that's the most horrible thing you've ever said. But if you just say things that people already know and agree with, then it's not funny, right? You have to say something that kind of catches people off guard.
You have to toe the line.
Yeah. So I think they're playing with that a little bit, but you have to understand that they're playing characters, and I think that's where the pendulum swing is coming back. It's like, I always think of Stephen Colbert. Remember when he did the Colbert Report, and he was just this like far right conservative, which today seems like kind of mainstream, but anyway, he would just whatever position, he would like obviously satirically take that conservative position. He would just take the opposite of whatever Obama was doing or whatever, right? And he was playing that character, and if you don't give him that creative space to say some outlandish, outrageous things just to oppose the accepted mainstream view, then the Colbert Report is just not a show.
Wow. I'm learning so much from you today. What an insightful conversation.
We need to do more morning shows. I feel like I'm a little
Our brains
today.
Are working. I didn't show up with 2 dusty brew house and just like, all right, let's record until I'm not funny anymore. Yeah. Oh my God. Morning shows. Yeah, this is the
We gotta do this more often.
100%. Well, I'm off work, so I mean, it works right now.
I probably should be at work.
Yeah, no, it's good. We got the Masters on. That was the other thing I learned. Bringing it back to the Masters, I didn't know this, but apparently, like, if you win the Masters at any point, you just get like a standing invitation to compete.
Yeah.
So there's some characters in the Masters right now with their dusty cans of brew house that were sleeping in the parking lot the night before. They're like, all right, I'm getting back on top.
Hell yeah. Well, they have the Wednesday night or Tuesday night dinner. It's the champions dinner. So the past champion, the guy that won last year, so Scotty Scheffler, you get to pick the menu. And all the past champions come and have a big dinner.
Yes.
And that's a big thing, is the menu comes out and you get to see, what did Scotty pick, right? And it says a lot about, maybe their personality and their culture. I think he's from Texas, so there was like ribeye and sliders for appetizers. But the year before was Hideki Matsuyama, so obviously there's some more of that like Japanese flavor there, like Kobe beef and I think there's sashimi and stuff like that. So it's cool to see the menus that these guys pick, because they get to curate their menu for their champions dinner. And then, I mean, how cool is it? You get to pick the menu, and then you just got like Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, like these huge names showing up to eat in your honor, eat your menu that you picked. Oh, how sick is that?
John Daly just like, all right, tonight's menu, we got 4 Loco, corn dogs.
We're having
cigarettes.
We're having Bush Light and cigarettes for the appy. Hooters hot wings for dessert.
Oh my God, yeah. Everyone's just all in their green coats, just wiping rib sauce on their fucking shit.
Just buffalo sauce and blue cheese dip all over their fancy green jackets. Yeah.
They're like trying to get McElroy to smoke, and he's like, "No, I don't. I'm an athlete." And he's like, "It's on the menu, you motherfucker. Suck back this jet."
You have to have a whole pack of Marlboro Reds before you can move on to the main course.
It's mandatory. You can't compete unless you complete. I think that should be a rule. God damn.
John Daly would just have like a hot dog eating contest instead of like an actual menu, just like a
Nathan's Famous. You got to get 30 before you can friggin' tee off.
Yeah,
that'd be a cool way to like corner the competition, being like, you know what, I might not win this thing ever again unless I can force feed all of the field with 30 hot dogs.
Oh,
you seen the 9-inning challenge on Reels?
I don't think so. No.
It's like 9 innings of baseball, 9 beers, 9 hot dogs.
Okay.
And you got to go 1-to-1. And it's like, by all accounts, pretty hard to do.
It sounds borderline impossible, and I can put back hot dogs with the best of them.
I know. I think I want to go for it. I think that's a goal of mine.
I mean, whenever I go to Flames games, I actually went this weekend with my daughter, so I didn't do it when I was hanging out with her. But if I go with my brother, like one of my buddies,
sit tight, watch my seat, honey.
I try to do like 2 of those Saddle Dome draft beers per period. So by the end of the game, you're at six beer deep. Yeah. Which, like, those.
So you do 1.5 with your daughter, or what? How'd you do that?
I had a Diet Coke
for $18.50.
Oh yeah, no, it's expensive. You go to, and that's the thing is, like, I've been to 2 games this year, and the first one was through my work. My boss took me and paid for everything, so that was cool. But this one, obviously taking my daughter, you get the tickets, and the tickets are pretty good deal. Got them from a family member. And then, you get there, though, it's parking is $15, right? I'm not taking my daughter on the C train because I don't need her to, like, inhale secondhand crack smoke before the age of 7.
Yeah, and you don't want to give her, catch a hatchet to the fucking head either.
So
fuck the C train.
Oh,
man.
yeah, no, it's brutal. And so, we parked down there, and then she's like, I want popcorn and a pop. And I was like, okay, we'll split it. I love popcorn. And right there, boom, like $14, right? And then she's in the second intermission. She's like, I want a hot dog. So we split a hot dog. Well, that was $8 for a hot dog. Like, literally discarded pig feet and fucking colons and like all the parts that they don't want.
And
it's
you're
like
there
$8.
And you're there to watch pig shit.
Oh yeah, no, they actually won. That was pretty wild. But
didn't they like? They're not mathematically out, but they are. Did they lose against Winnipeg?
No, they won. And so that's the frustrating thing is that they can't beat Chicago. But they can beat Winnipeg, and if they had beaten Chicago, it would have looked way better. But I don't think they're gonna do it.
I'm enjoying a very like King of the Castle vibe right now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
We won like, I'm gonna say a number, and I might get fact checked, but we won like 10 in our last 11.
Yeah,
like it's disgusting. Like we're making a play at first.
But it's wild because Vegas has played so good that it's like Edmonton's played so well but they've gained like 2 points on Vegas.
Yeah, I think last I looked, and I haven't looked this morning, but we were within 3, and they still had a game at hand. And we're running out of time, running out of runway here.
But I mean, you know what though? I think that you guys have played LA pretty well this year. I think that 2-3 matchup is actually probably a little better.
Yeah, I think just like sports wise in Alberta, I was pulling for Calgary to pull it out, for us to end up in first. And then just roll, just fucking sweep you guys again.
I can't take that. I would almost have them rather not make the playoffs at all. So
I was so stoked on that last year, and then we walk into Colorado and just get shat on.
Yeah.
And Daryl Sutter, the king of the post game, is just like, they won one more playoff game than us. Fuck, or whatever it was, Yeah. We got just absolutely destroyed.
You know what though? That's part of the experience. Very few teams just make the playoffs randomly and then just go on a run. It's like you kind of actually need some of that experience. They always talk about that with the Capitals. Anyway, this is turning into sports talk.
Hey, why not? Morning show
sports talk.
I feel like
ESPN, give us a call.
What's the? I was saying our brains were working. What's the movie where the guy just he takes a pill and unlocks the potential of his brain? Limitless. Yeah. We're Bradley Cooper.
And you know what's funny is I do genuinely have diagnosed ADHD, and I take meds every morning.
Did you just scarf them before the epi?
Yeah, I did take them this morning, and so it probably hasn't worn off.
Smash them up and snort them?
Oh yeah, right up my butt.
The inward fart. Nice.
No, so that could explain why I'm a little sharper today, because I took pharmaceutical grade methamphetamine before I hopped on here.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm into that. Yeah, I'm mental acuity, not methamphetamines. I mean, I'm not a C train rider. Yeah, so okay, well then that was an extended intro. Learning lots. Dex on point today.
You too, sir. Let me grab a sip of my coffee.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm going to pull up the emails. Play that sexy mailbag jingle.
Love this jingle.
Mailbag time, motherfucker.
All right, today's, we got 2 emails. One is...
Whoa, 2?
Yeah, man, you know what? I was talking to Vinny, and she got a laugh out of you being like, thanks for the unsolicited advice there.
When I was listening back to that, I was like, that's actually a really dickhead thing to say. Somebody's just trying to be helpful, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
She was kind of like, hey, dickhead.
I am a dick. Thank you, Vin. You know what? I did take her advice, and I did change a lot of our socials and our podcast description to have the email in it.
Her advice was put your email to your shit.
It was very helpful, and also very common sense advice. The fact we didn't think of that, obviously we were doing all of this in the evening and not the morning.
And so this will come back because one of our emails is a response in a way to Vin's email, but also just funny because she was unsolicited. And I said it in the episode. She's like, you solicited that email. You're like, please, someone engage with us.
We're 2 independent people.
I wanted to do a Q&A episode at one point, but it would be single question. We'll have to work towards that. I'll have to do a lot of soliciting.
Yeah.
So this one comes to us from a Stan Darsh. And it's just nice. It kind of fits the morning show vibe.
Stan Darsh is a nice fella.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Love that guy. Hey Rad Dads, just wanted to send a message and let you guys know I really enjoyed the last episode, Rad Dad Renovation Project. And we did. We got some good feedback on that one. Thank you. And congrats on the big 1-0 episode count. Keep doing what you guys are doing and look forward to seeing you out on the links in just over a month. Have a great weekend. Staniel M. Darsh.
Thank you, Stan.
Yeah, love you, buddy.
I'm excited to see him on the links too.
Yeah.
We got the golf team all set up.
I still haven't paid. I phoned, and the lady was full out I just did my cash out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's $340.
Oh, we're in. We're
in. And what she said, you're registered. But, yeah. Thanks. I'm excited for that golf league. Keeping the Rad Dad tradition alive. Golfing outside in RL, not VR.
Yeah, little more at stake. You actually, if you blast a golf ball 3 holes over, you have to go find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose a lot more golf balls and potentially damage some property. How many houses are out on this course?
Not many.
When I golf at Crystal in town, look out. Lookout siding,
Look
lookout
out
windows.
Stan Darsh's house.
Lookout stands. just teeing it up. You'd have to slice so hard. You'd have to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? They've said that they've had a handful of golf balls in their backyard. And I'm like literally looking, their house is perpendicular to the 9th tee box. And so I'm like, I feel like you were targeted.
Yeah.
You know, like it would take a very bad shot to get in their backyard.
All right. So this next email, like I said,
I'll be honest, I pre-read this one on our email. It's touchy.
it's touchy. Disclaimer: I might have to be creative in reading some of it, but we are a show of the people for the people. So yeah. Hey, Brad Dads. Sorry. And this one comes from Shane Stuck. Shout out you, Shane. Hey, Rad Dads, I'm a big fan of the show and finally felt obligated to email in after Dex's incessant whining. He actually said Drew.
Yeah, I was going to say, clarification, please.
Felt obligated to email in after Drew's incessant whining for support. I was also excited to be promised that you'd read and answer all emails that were sent in. Inspired by last episode's top 10, what are your top 10 least favorite countries for Canada to receive immigrants from?
So that's one that we're probably not going to touch.
Yeah.
And even if we flip that, we're like, what are your top 10 favorites? Somebody's going to come out and say, oh, you left out this country, you bigoted piece of shit. So yeah, we're not going to touch that one.
Please tell us what age and with who you each lost your virginity to, and then please each list all sexual partners you've had since then. Well, that's easy. I can actually.
Yeah, you can touch that one. I'm not gonna kiss and tell.
And lastly, on air, can you two please stand 6 feet apart, naked from the waist down, and describe each other's flaccid wieners? Appreciate it, guys, and keep up the great work.
So for my wiener, like we don't have to reveal it. Just read the Donald Trump indictment. And just replace Donald Trump with Dex Dunford.
That came full circle. Yeah, you just ask Stormy Daniels. She's got an absolutely dialed depiction of your schween. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the email. I even left out one of the questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, you noticeably left out one of the questions. You said up front you weren't comfortable. That's fine.
Oh, man. You know, like I always feel like there's an element... And it goes back to the Overton window, or maybe not. I'm not using that word correctly. It goes back to the...
when in Rome.
When in Rome. What was the word you used? Like ruminate. Ruminate. Fuck it. I guess I didn't take my Limitless pills. Yeah, you know, I'm always just conscious, like, who's listening? Got to be careful. But I do love the email, and I appreciate the support. So thank you, Shano, for the excellent questions. Can we answer any of these?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, well, Dex, get those pants off. Stand 6 feet apart. The thing about that one is everyone's seen my schween. That was
yeah.
Yeah. I like to take the Trump approach.
I like to keep a little bit of mystery.
Yeah.
Just because after the mystery's gone, any sense of pride or
dignity
that I had is gone. The remaining shred has disappeared.
Oh my god. Yeah. And that's it for emails. Yeah, it's a great mailbag.
That was a good mailbag. Stan Darsh, super nice. Shane, whatever your fake last name show. He tried to get us canceled, but we're not going to fall for that one.
Yeah, can't get canceled. I love doing this.
How whack would it be to get canceled on episode 11?
Lucky number 11.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I felt accomplished. We've got a body of work. I'd almost be okay with it.
Now let's just throw it all in the trash.
Yeah.
Speaking of episode 11, I feel like we have some big news, and we've had such a good conversation that the big news is like buried directly in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you made it this far, you get the big news. If you didn't, if you got offended by our description of Donald Trump whipping out his hog on the courtroom stand.
Yeah, that was pretty early on.
A lot of people might tune out like 10 minutes in. Yeah. But no, we had a lot of requests in the last few emails previous to this, and just in general for some merch.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say the merch store is happening.
It's happening.
We've actually already ordered some of our samples.
Yeah.
And they should be here probably by the time this episode goes live, or maybe just shortly after.
Should we're gonna post a picture of us wearing our stuff?
I think we should.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so what we're doing is we've got a merch store. We've got all the designs up, and we're going to be kind of shifting around our websites. So BajaLife.style was always pointing to the podcast site. Now it's going to point to our merch store because it's got style at the end and we're very stylish.
Yeah.
And it's print on demand, which has some pros and cons, right? Pros is that we can post as many designs as we want. People can order whatever size they want. We don't have to spend $1,000 carrying a bunch of inventory and fulfilling it and all of that. You order from our site, it sends it to the print on demand. They fulfill it in North America and send it out directly. So keeps our costs low. Of course, then we don't control the shipping or anything like that. So it's kind of slow at times, I found. But it is what it is. You know, we're getting some merch out there. Lots of different options that kind of like highlight some of our favorite parts of the podcast. And
yeah, and I think our buddy Geese was pretty forthright in saying, you know, like maybe you guys should focus on getting listeners and not your merch. But I got to tell you, these are cool shirts. Like you did all the design work. So whether you enjoy our podcast or not, you might just find that we got some hype stuff. You should
yeah, like the
check
shirts
out.
just aren't like, I mean, obviously we have some logo shirts and stuff like that, but they're not just like Rad Dad podcast shirts. There's some that are just, I don't know, cool designs.
Let's get Biden to quit.
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon, RDRP. Yeah, find all that and more.
You know what's funny is like
Style.
I've always thought about making shirts that are just for like that type of audience, because they seem to spend a lot of disposable income on like outwardly projecting their opinions, like t-shirts and bumper stickers and stuff like that. And the best example, I was in Arizona on vacation just this past December, and I'm at the mall, and this guy's standing in front of me, like facing me, and his shirt said, "I have PTSD." And I was like, oh, like maybe this guy's like a veteran or something like that. And he wants people to be aware, you know, like don't sneak up behind him and make a big gunshot noise or something, right? And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then he kind of like stopped and turned, and the back of the shirt said, "Pretty tired of stupid Democrats." And I was like, that's kind of funny, but also like really disrespectful to people that have PTSD. And like he's probably the type to be like, yeah, support our troops, but he's like making fun of like the most serious affliction of people who've seen combat.
I've seen some wild ones. I just saw some like frumpy 65-year-old dude on a street corner wearing a Black Lives MAGA shirt. I'm like, what? Huh? I mean, sure.
Like, we're so worried about ourselves getting canceled, and people are just wearing these shirts.
Yeah, no, like on the spectrum, I think we're light. You know, we have had a tonal shift throughout the course of our podcast, and I think a lot of that comes with just being like comfortable with our jokes, and also, you know, feedback, and being like, hey, you know what, this is NFSW.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like don't have this on. This isn't Jack FM. Like don't blast this in your cubicle. Okay, you're gonna get fired for sure. But yeah, we're mindful. I mean, we're good folks.
Yeah.
And we're not out there wearing these fucking t-shirts. Now we're making them.
We're just capitalizing on the system. You know what? You got to play the game. But no, these shirts none of them are really offensive.
No, and they're cool. And I know that you did a lot of work and definitely had some fun with the designs. So please do check them out.
Yeah, I had some fun with it. And it's funny because like I also wanted to make, really just for myself, but hopefully other people enjoy it, I wanted like a Rad Dad Country Club line, right? Because I mean we've played golf, and I think that's just a common thing that a lot of dads enjoy.
This is a morning show golf podcast.
Yeah,
yes.
it's a golf podcast. Teeing off with the Rad Dads.
Oh,
Ooh, I like that.
that's not bad. It's not a bad angle.
So I did like a Rad Dad Country Club line. Again, full disclosure, basically just for me because I wanted some new golf clothes. But one of them I was like, oh, the Masters are starting. We're going to be launching this store right around the Masters. Like, I'm going to do a special edition Masters outfit. And so I was like, you got to do the Augusta green. You got to do the pink magnolias. And so I did, and probably not all of this will make it on the site. Probably none of it, maybe. I don't know. But I did like crew neck, and it's basically like Augusta green with all over print pink magnolias. Like it's like, and then I did matching joggers, and I also did a matching windbreaker. And I showed Alicia, and I was like, this is sick. Like, I love this. I actually paid an artist for the magnolia designs. They're like watercolor magnolias. So I paid, and then I designed up the clothes. And I showed Alicia, I was like, this is so sick. Like, I would wear this jacket. I'm not so sure about the joggers, but I was like, the jacket I would wear for sure. She's like, that's the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen. And if you spend good Canadian currency on that, I will divorce you. Like, words out of her mouth. She's like, I'll divorce you if you buy that.
So when's the shipment expected? You're hyping it up.
I should call her bluff.
The way, like, when you texted me about it, like, it's hard to get, like, you know, when you're texting sometimes. But, like, you describing it, I'm like, ordered 2. You know, like,
and then you saw it. Okay, what's your honest? Because I sent it to a bunch of people, and I'm now realizing that maybe my sense of fashion is outside of the Overton window. Because I was like sending it to people, I was like, "Do you not think this is sick?" And most people were like, like if they're being nice, they're like, like not my style. Few other people were like, "That is ugly as sin." And there's one person who was like, "That's actually pretty cool. Like that's kind of the style now, but probably not like a 33-year-old man, like more like a." You know, late teens, early 20s kind of kid, right? So,
well, the question implies that I have a sense of fashion, and it's very much not true. Like we were actually chatting about this. You know, like you go through a lot of different iterations as a person, and I think when you're like a young person, you know, there's like a early you just like things because you think they're cool. You're like, blue's my favorite color. Like you're just a little idiot. And then maybe you go through the like repping a sports team. And then, like, you know, like popular clothes, like in Vogue. I remember like Billabong and puka shell necklaces. But even those were like a snapshot in time.
They had their moment, like One Tree Hill days.
Yeah, exactly, man. Lucas Scott. You watch One Tree Hill? Oh,
Alicia loves that show. She rewatched it while she was pregnant, like the whole series.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Admittedly, Megan and I, that was like early high school dating. We watched a lot of One Tree Hill. I like the basketball.
I'm more of an OC guy.
Yeah, and I never got into that. And that one got kind of kooky. But those, they're perfect. Yeah. Like, that's like what you saw people wearing, and, you know, like consumerism. Like, I want to look like that. I want to spike my hair like that. Abercrombie and Fitch. So the whole, like, sense of fashion. So you go through this phase of, like, your sense of fashion is essentially, like, what you see and what you want to emulate. And I just want to, like, look like these people. And then I think... there was a phase where like you almost got like counterculture, a rejection of that. And you and I both in different ways were scene kids, you know, like the music that we listened to and the shows we were going to in a lot of ways dictated like that culture and the way we were dressing, which is definitely something we should talk about because a lot of those outfits are like ghastly and hilarious to talk about.
Old pictures of myself and I'm like, oh God, my dad was right.
Oh yeah, you look like a fucking idiot. Yeah, sorry, Dad. And then I don't know, like college is one thing where you kind of like, I think you become a person in the sense that you just like buy clothes that you like, you know, and you can finally enjoy that space. And then like what I'm experiencing right now is like this like massive, I don't want to like sell myself short, but like clothes that fit. You know, like ergonomics, shoes. I was like fucking wheelbarrowing something the other day in flip-flops and I got like serious toe pain and I was like, man, like I gotta like stop doing things in these like no support shoes.
Gotta get some Dr. Scholl's in there.
I need some Merrells. so now like I feel like my style days are behind me and like I very much go to like Winners. You know, I was a phys ed teacher for years. So it was just like a collection of stretchy shorts and hoodies and, you know, like that. My work dictated my style. I don't have a fucking style. Like I don't know what I would be into, you know. I think it's cool that we're designing clothes now, but like we're like the least qualified. So that was a long answer. When you're like, what's, you know, your sense of style, your sense of fashion? It's non-existent.
Yeah, and you know what? I was kind of feeling the same way. I was like, what is my sense of fashion? And I asked Alicia, I was like, how would you describe my sense of fashion if we talk about it on the podcast?
Loaded question.
And she, and she was like, can I think about that for a second? And I was like, please just answer nicely. But she was kind of like, well, you really don't have like a defined style. She's like, you've got your work style, right? So when I go to work, I'm very business casual. And she's like, you are trendy young professional. Like you...
Alpha finance dad.
Oh yeah, alpha finance dad.
Vest.
Exactly. I got the vest. I wore that outfit yesterday to a meeting.
Yeah.
With the vest and the gingham shirt and the blue khakis.
Yeah. I know the one.
So that, you know, and I've got the rolled up sleeves or whatever. I don't do like business professional, right? So you'll never see me wearing a suit and a tie. I did that once for like a very big meeting that I had, but I don't wear a suit. I own one suit. But then like my day-to-day style, Alicia's like, that's pretty hard to pin down because sometimes you have like nice sweaters and stuff and you like to dress nice. And I will not leave the house if I'm not in like jeans. I need to, like, I won't leave in sweatpants or anything like that.
You have told me this. That's a rule you have.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, I could be running a Home Depot for one thing. I'm like, I got to get changed. I'm weird about that, but then I'll also like pull
You've
it
got
back
standards.
and I've got like band shirts. And she thinks they're the ugliest band shirts ever made. And I'm like, no, I love them. I'm going to wear my band shirt and my jeans, right? So, I don't know. I've got a range of styles. But to go back to the scene style in high school,
Yes.
like that was my defining style. Was like, obviously I loved, that kind of music, that scene music, local hardcore shows and stuff like that. I was wearing the skin tight jeans, the band shirts, the black hair.
Let's unpack the skin tight jeans. You knew it was coming up because it was you and my boy Ross, who actually is an avid listener. So shout out my guy. He's international. He's wild international. But you guys didn't wear just like tight jeans.
Yeah, it wasn't tight jeans. They were women's jeans.
They were women's jeans. And before I tee off, like certainly Overton window, much more acceptable. Wear whatever you want. You see people out there in like designer dresses that are just like neutral, whatever. But like it was striking back then to see like dudes just wearing women's True Religion jeans. But you guys, you pulled them off. And I was surprised actually. It was like a big reveal the one time, chilling with Ross, and I'm like, where do you even buy these fucking pants? Like, you are so skinny. Like, what pants store do you go to? And he was like, I don't know, like La Senza. And I'm like,
okay, that's a lingerie store.
Is it? I don't fucking know.
Ross, where do you buy those pants? He's just wearing like a garter and stockings.
Where are you buying these? Is La Senza a lingerie store?
Yes.
Fuck, I don't know. I'm not a shopper. Okay, scratch that.
I'll say where I always went to get mine. I would always
Notes.
go to like Blue Notes, Old
Yeah.
Navy, something like that. Head straight for the women's section. And the number of times that like an associate of the store would come up to me and be like, sir, like, this is the women's, are you buying for your girlfriend or something? I'd be like, no, it's for me.
And then you gotta try them on. And so you drop the bomb that he's wearing women's jeans and you're wearing women's jeans. And there was a moment where I was like, maybe this is a thing. And like, like I'm a big boy. Like I'm not buying size 0, size 1. So like I have to go buy like large women's pants. And not that I bought them, but I distinctly remember going to the mall with my now wife and Ross and being like, I'm gonna like, let's go try some of these on. And like, yeah, the crazy thing, and like I'm not packing. Okay, I'm not Donald Trumping over here. But like
Donald Trump is not packing apparently.
but they are not built for schweens. Like you put these, especially back then, that was like kind of like the lowrider generation. Like now, like you see a lot more like mom jeans,
Yeah.
and like, which is hilarious to me, like the high waist and then like the thick Costco Kirkland, just like tube legs. But like this is like Britney Spears, Destiny's Child era. So like,
Oh yeah, I mean this was like 2006.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you're like these jeans, like you're working with like from waist to you got like 4 inches. They're up there.
Oh yeah, and you always had to like, they were already built to be
Did you like a mangina? Did you like?
No, they were already built to be like low waisted, like on a woman's hips. Like they're already meant to be very low.
Yeah.
And if you were a guy wearing them, you basically had to low ride them even lower, right?
Oh yeah.
And so
expose the boxers.
Yeah, and so you were going, and then the long tee,
Yeah.
right? That was kind of the style, anyway.
That was a thing. I remember that. I was definitely, when I used to like buy jeans and well anything really, I'd get like 30 or 28 in length because I was doing them up essentially like around my thighs.
Yeah,
Like I was definitely like, it's weird to think about now. I would never wear my pants like that, and that's definitely like a Brett Favre, like pants on the ground, pants on the ground. But like that was absolutely how I wore my jeans. That was the fit. They
That
were
was the fit
nowhere
back then, yeah.
near my waist. No way.
yeah. And I actually got inspired to wear them when I was playing soccer, and there's a dude on my team, and he was just like, he was this stylish guy. I played on a Calgary team, so it's all cool city kids. And the reason why I could wear those jeans at that time is because I was actually very fit. I was playing on a Division I soccer team, playing 6 days a week. Like I could eat whatever I wanted, and I couldn't get past 150 pounds, right? Like and he wore women's jeans, and I was always like, man, you look so good, like I love your style. And it's kind of the same thing. Where do you get those jeans? And we're at a tournament. He's like, they're women's jeans. And had a different reaction than you. I was like, that's sick. And like the next day, went and bought my first pair. Actually, he lent me a pair because we were the same size. And he lent me a pair of his women's jeans. And so it was two dudes sharing clothes, sharing women's clothes.
Yeah, heck yeah. As you do. Style.
Yeah, as you do. And yeah, that's what got me into that. And I basically did that all through high school. And let me tell you, that was a bold call to make in like small town Alberta, to wear women's jeans every day to school, because like I got some heat for it for sure.
Oh yeah, God yeah. Yeah,
I still get heat for it. Some people see me and be like, remember when you used to wear women's jeans?
I was eager. Yeah, man. Well, if you look at, I think it's the photo from our Rad Dad email. It's you and me in junior high, and like you can't see your pants, but what you can see is like this like huge mop top, like side bang thing. Like that was the beginning. Yeah, that was the beginning of like the major scene. But you know, not to otherize you, because like my thing was I did the like puka shell, billabong, like I was that kid. And then in high school, kind of like all at once, like a trifecta, the Triforce, I like stopped playing sports. I quit hockey. I was suspended from hockey, was not allowed to play. I got cut from the volleyball team due to like gravity and like everyone else getting like way taller and better. And then I also got like a job, which is like a very defining moment in any young person's style journey, is when like you now have the means to go out and purchase your own clothes. And I was really into metal music, and like the play then was all black everything. And then like a loud band t-shirt.
Yeah, just big letters, sharp points on the letters. I can close my eyes and just see like, you know, like the Pantera shirts and stuff. Oh my God. That.
I still have one. Like I will not let Megan throw it out, because I'm like, I'm gonna fit this one day, and she's like, lol. LOL. You gonna lose 100 pounds? I don't think so. It's like a size medium, but it's a Pantera Great Southern Trendkill t-shirt, and it's just like you described. It's like Pantera across the top, and then it's a rattlesnake, and it's like textured, like the whole shirt is just a snake. And like that was the vibe, man. I was just like failing math 20, rolling up, looking hard as fuck.
Alicia, yeah. I still hold on to my band shirts, and actually I bought a new one just this fall, so it's actually one that genuinely fits me, and I like to wear it, but she hates it. It's a Magnolia Park shirt, and it's same thing. It's got kind of like that loud lettering on the front, and on the back is just like a full-on skeleton, like ascending.
Yeah.
And I'm just like...
Very Iron Maiden.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, that's sick. I love it. And she's like, that's the ugliest shirt you own. And if I ever put it on and we're going out somewhere together, she's like, take it off. Like, I will not be seen with you in public. I'm like, I'll put a hoodie on over top. She's like, I don't care. I know it's underneath.
Yeah, I know what you're wearing. Yeah, it's funny because I didn't ask my wife to do the style out on me, because I was like, I don't want to hear it.
Want to keep that mystery? Yeah.
No, there's no mystery. I've long since subscribed to the belief, and this is gonna make me sound like a total like glutton slob piece of shit, and maybe I am. End of segment. But like I take this approach most noticeably with my like hair and facial hair. I have the lowest bar. And here's my theory. With that is like, take you and I, for example. You know, you won't even leave the house in sweatpants. You're always clean shaven. You have like very nice styled hair. And that is like typically how I see you. That is most often the way that you are perceived and the way that you present yourself. So what happens is the inverse function of that is if you ever were to wear sweatpants, if you ever were to have a bad hairdo or let the beard go, it would be like immediately noticeable. I'd be like, whoa, Dex, like you get laid off? Like,
are you okay?
You okay? Things are okay. Whereas like I very much take the opposite approach. I get one haircut every 18 months, and it's usually I cut it all off and then I grow it for 18 months. And I shave once a month. And like I just constantly embody this like don't care mountain man vibe. Again, not very stylish, not very appealing. But not to be self-deprecating, but like that is like how I rock my style. But the inverse function of that is when I do like the littlest shit. Like I shave once, I get a haircut. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, like Drew, you look
so many compliments.
You look so nice today. Like wow, man. I put on a suit. I put on like real pants. I'm like this guy's over here wearing pants. Hey guys, you see Drew's pants? They're like, yeah, come on. I wore it when I was in college. I just wore shorts, like, and I think like a singular pair of shorts. I had like two different stretchy Lulus, and I pulled off like a 365 of being in shorts. And like the first day I wore pants, it was like, like my mom's like, I gotta call your grandma. Like, this guy's out here in pants, and I like that. That's my style.
You know what? I can see the logic behind that. Like, don't set a really high bar that you can't jump over every day.
I jump over it. I crawl over it. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I can see that for sure. Yeah.
I recently got dress coded at work though. That actually happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened to me. Sometimes I wonder if it will. Like, so I was actually at a team meeting in Calgary yesterday, and so all of my colleagues are sitting in the same boardroom, and I was very aware that I was probably one of the more underdressed men there. People. All the women were wearing nice stuff, but I can't really compare myself to a woman wearing a nice blouse, right? So I'm looking at the other guys, and a lot of them are wearing suits, or at least wearing a tie or something like that. And I was wearing like Alpha Finance Dad gingham shirt, vest, and khakis. Yeah. So I wasn't like slovenly, but very acutely aware that I was probably the most underdressed there.
Which is a bit of power in that.
A little bit, but I was like, is somebody going to say something? Nobody's ever said anything about how I dress at work, but I was like wondering if somebody was going to say something. Yeah. So it's in the back of your mind.
Mine was more like you go to, like, in High River, there's a store called White Bull, and it's like a young professional store, mostly geared towards women, and like female teachers specifically, like I've never known a teacher to come to work that's not like very well done up and like professionally dressed. They carry themselves a certain way. And like, just as I was leaving out the hallway, I walked past my boss's office, and he was like, "Hey, Drew, like, what's up, man?" I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, having a chat, and he's like, "So, like, love to have you back. Great having you here. I noticed that you wear a hockey jersey and like a ball cap every day." Like, you just roll out of bed, grab your dustiest Sean Bell, and put on like your trucker hat, and then you come here and you work. Are you aware that like this is a school? And I was, because like I was saying before, like, there's a lot of power in that. I've always been like, yeah, I'm so cool. I don't give a care. And then I'm like, oh, what? Like, you noticed how bad I look? Like, wait. Do people notice how bad I look? And it's a thing. I remember, like, Brad otherizes me. That's my word of the day, otherizing. Every time we go out, he'll be wearing something nice, and just like, he called me on it the one time. He's like, I just wondered what fucking hockey jersey you were gonna wear. I'm Kevin Smith, essentially. That's my style. I'm fucking Kevin Smith. Yeah, I don't know.
So I will say this: there was something that I learned when I had my first big boy job out of college in Fort McMurray. I was working at the radio station, but I was doing ad sales. And so I kind of imagined it, because I'd interned in Calgary, and the ad sales people were all very well dressed, like business professional, right? Business casual on a Friday, right? And so when I got this job doing ad sales in Fort McMurray, my first day I showed up in a suit and tie. And I was just like, this is how, ad executives, well, that really makes it seem like a much more intense job than it was. But I was like, this is how they show up to work, salespeople. You're going to be interacting with business owners or marketing managers, stuff like that. And my boss, like, literally, I walked in and he was like, what the fuck are you wearing? and you know what? The way that he explained it to me, he's like, that might be fine if you were doing, high-level ad sales in Calgary or Toronto or something like that. He was like, you're going to be meeting with, business owners, small, medium business owners, maybe some decision makers from some big companies, but you're in very much a blue-collar town. And you're going to find that there's dudes coming from their shift on site to buy ads for their small business that they run on the side, and they're going to be wearing their bitumen-stained, overalls, right? And he's like, and when you dress like that, you're immediately creating a space between where this is a working class person who's just been at the oil sand site all day, working their ass off, finishing their 12-hour shift for their last 7 on or whatever, and you're sitting there and you're perfectly clean, and it can be hard to overcome that. Like, you look at people and you judge. No matter how much you want to, you make a judgment on how somebody looks right away. And so that was a lesson learned for me, where like, you have to be mindful of, so I guess I'm trying to come to your defense in that you are teaching young kids who are not showing up in, business casual or business professional. They're just wearing their cool shirts like we were when we were in school, right? And so I feel like that maybe helps you bridge that gap a little bit, but I'm just an asshole saying whatever is coming to mind.
No, that makes it. Then there's definitely like that makes sense, right? You don't want to come across as this like uppity exec, like better than. I will interject and say that like I am at the age. I don't know what the fuck these kids are wearing. Like I am.
They're wearing Magnolia shirts bought off of BajaLife.style.
Yeah. Please visit our store. Buy that stuff. So it's funny. I had another teacher, Mr. Foster, when I was like coming up in the teacher game. And he told me about this like phenomena you experience as a teacher. Like when you first get into the industry, you're young, you're like 25 and like you're close enough in age. I taught high school initially and like you're 7 years, 8 years removed. Like you're very much a part of the same culture. So, in terms of style anyway, and you kind of like your first iteration as a teacher is like this big brother. You're just like the older, I've got money, I wear cool stuff. Kids are always like, oh, check out like, what are those? Like cool shoes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like, as you become older and you transition into your next stage of life, that gap grows. And then the next iteration is like, you're not cool older brother, you're cool older uncle, and then you become dad. And then your grandpa. And these are all like, the different phases of being a male teacher. And I guess I'm transitioning between like uncle mode and dad mode because I wear, like my clothes, but I very much see what kids are wearing. And I'm like, it looks so stupid, the hats, like the thing right now is the teeny weeny beanie. Like doesn't even cover your ears. You look like Rocky's fucking boxing coach, and then they like flip their wings out on the side. The girls, like I said, wearing like the high waisted like Costco pants and like and then like a big hoodie, but then like or like a zip up, but then they'll like unzip it and essentially wear like Megan told me these things are called like bralettes. It's a fucking bra. And I was like, I'm just thinking about like my daughters. I was like, no way. I'm dad in the living room, like, get back upstairs and change that shit. But it's just like, it's so bizarre to me, the fashion sense. And then the one that kills me that I just can't get my head around, and I actually have a story about it, is like the fabric back, like crusty little dad hats.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I wear like a 950. Like I have a hat that fits my head and it's the hat I buy. It's the hat I order. And like, this is my hat and it's a cool hat. And I very much, there was a time when like everyone wore this type of hats. It was kind of like post Fred Durst, new era Yankees hats when like snapbacks became cool again, starter caps became cool again. And I just like hopped on it, rode with it. And it's still the hat I wear today. And these kids, they wear these just like god awful dusty hats, but they're everywhere. And like they sit on top, like right on top of the hairdo, flip out the wings, and you look ridiculous. But like now my hat is lame. Like I didn't change my hat. My hat was always cool, but now like it's a stupid hat. And are you familiar with the band Peach Pit?
I know the name. I'm not.
They're out of Vancouver. They're rad. They're like one of the hippest bands, and both Megan and I like their stuff, which is a rarity when we talk about
nice
music.
When you can find some commonality there.
Yeah, we listen to very different music, and so this is one of those like unicorns that we both enjoy. And they were playing at Mac Hall right out of COVID, and it was like it was a cool thing because the last time they were in Calgary they played like the diner at Tubby Dog, and now they're playing Mac Hall. Like they've really elevated, got a bunch of fans. And we went to this concert and I've never felt so old. Like just like people watching, like I said, the teeny weeny beanie, the dad hats, like bell bottoms are back, all this crazy shit, dusty little stashes. And I wanted a band shirt, as we were talking about earlier. Like I'm like, oh no, commemorate this cool show that we're at back at the college. We went to the Den to like get beers and shit. It was very nostalgic. And then we go to the merch table and like I'm looking. And like this shit is Paper Bag Princess. I'm like, what are these clothes? Like I can't make sense of these like gross thrift store friggin' sweaters. And I'm looking at the hats. Like I can't wear any of these shirts. I'm not gonna pay money for this crap. But like I'll get a cool hat. So I'm looking, and all they have is these teeny ween beans and these dad hats. And I didn't say anything about it. Like I wasn't like that dude being like, look at these fucking hats, so stupid. All I said was like, hey, are these all your hats? And the girl working the merch counter just kind of like looked at me and she's like, yeah, sorry, we don't have any trucker hats. Huh? And I was like, what?
She went right for the jugular,
I
hey?
was like, is that and I just felt so stupid and like judged. I was like, I didn't ask for a trucker hat, like, but that's the vibe I'm putting out. This is me. I'm old guy at a show who wears trucker hats. Yeah. Megan was dying.
I had a similar experience, maybe not as drastic. I went to go see A Day to Remember, and this is where I got that Magnolia
So
Park
deep.
shirt. Yeah, and you going back to episode 1. Yeah, I think we talked about it because I'd just come back from that show, and when I was there, I felt very old, and like these bands were. I mean, A Day to Remember definitely came on sort of when I was in university, so maybe not high school days, but like The Used was popular when I was in high school. Magnolia Park is a new band; they're pretty dope. But I'm there watching the show that I thought people there would all be my age, and there definitely was a good crowd of that. But there was a lot of like young people and definitely that newer style. But of course, it's kind of like that scene kid vibe still, like that's still kind of going on. But when I was there, I was like, I feel like in Billy Madison when he's sitting and listening to the story with the kids and he's just like sitting on the carpet. That was me watching A Day to Remember. I was like, oh yeah, like I remember getting their like first major label album, and all these kids are like, yeah, no, like that came out when I was 4. Like,
oh man. I do like going to those like throwback shows. Alexa on Fire and Avenged Sevenfold are playing at the Dome.
yeah.
And I was like, I had this experience. We saw Pennywise a while back, and like they're unapologetically like 40s and 50s, and like they get out and they make you feel young again. Like I remember Pennywise coming out, and there's like I can't remember all the bands that were playing, but it was a big mix, and like you had your kids in the pit, wearing their Hot Topic bracelets, imaginary fighting. And Pennywise came out and they're like, all right, like all you young guys, like you're going to want to clear out. Because like if there's any fucking OG old dudes here who like remember how to push mosh and throw like real punches, like come to the front now. And I was just like, yes. And I was thinking about that. We're going to go hopefully with my brother to this Alexis show. And like there will probably be that. There'll probably be like these new young people who've like just discovered this band. Like, oh, this new band. But like they're old dudes too. Like,
oh yeah.
Like Dallas Green just turned 40.
I remember getting like Watch Out.
Yeah.
And that came out when we were in like middle school.
Yes.
Yeah, love that album.
Man, so good. Yeah, so like I get so hyped, like, and they always do a good job of playing their back catalog. Like there's gonna be a place for me there, but like I am gonna come out of retirement. Like I'm wearing Converse, and I'm wearing like I remember I used to go to Coat Check, and I'd be like in a t-shirt. They're like, what are you checking? And I'd like take my tearaway Adidas off, and I'll like because I'm in short shorts and I'm ready to like just push, just get sweaty. So that's exciting. My brother's someone, and I guess I can say this because like both our brothers have made it clear that they don't
listen. They're like, nah,
they don't
no
listen.
more of that.
They don't enjoy our creative endeavors. But he's the antithesis of what like my style would be. Like he's such a well put together man, well groomed man, hairdo.
He's fit. He takes good care of his body.
Oh, he's shredded, man.
Yeah,
fucker. Yeah,
it's funny because like if we ever hang out, he's like obviously older than like kind of our core group, right?
Yeah.
But he's also like the most youthful and best looking out of all of us
by a mile. It's so frustrating, but I mean he works hard at it. But it is funny because it's like we used to play this game all the time. We'd go out and I'd be like, because he's older, be like, ooh, like talking to girls, be like, who's older, blah blah blah. Like and like it became very shortly into that. There'd be like, you're the big brother, like you the like fat like gray hair beard fucking slob. Like you're definitely the older brother. So stop playing that game. But he's almost to the point where like he's so well dressed and he's so like up to date with current styles that sometimes like I think he's the kid wearing the old dad hat. He showed up the other day and he was wearing like a hoodie that was essentially like sheep's wool, like on the outside, like fleece, and a leather ball cap. And I'm like, Kanye, like what the fuck is happening? Like you don't do this. But like he's like he always dresses so nice and he always has the coolest shit. And I'm like, you can have that. You can be the fit, better looking brother. I could never go and like I think that's a funny thing to do is like try to keep up with it too much. And I'm not saying he does that, but like I would not go now after this episode and be like, I need to rebrand. Like I'm going to go get cool clothes. Like I'm not, I can't do it.
I'm guilty of doing that sometimes, and Alicia's roasted me for it a few times. And probably a big one. And, you know, I think it's popular just in kind of general, but it's also become popular in golf, which is like a big part of my style. I would say I probably have just as many golf outfits as I do normal outfits, right? And a lot of the pro golfers, like Justin Thomas, a lot of those guys, they're wearing joggers now, like nice joggers, but they're wearing those joggers with, you know, kind of leave a couple inches before your shoe, right? And I went and bought a pair. But the problem is, like, if you're not an in-shape professional athlete...
if you don't jog?
Yeah, if you don't jog, you're basically buying, like, really big weights that taper down to a cuff. And it's just, it's basically like a big old funnel. It's just the bottom half of your body just looks like a funnel going down to your shoes. And I was actually wearing them, so I'll wear them around the house, but I don't wear them out. I was like, oh, these are so trendy. They're so cool. They're like these burgundy joggers. I'll wear them around the house, just like kicking it. But yeah, no, I'm not wearing them out because they're not like flattering. So when I told Alicia, I was like, I'm going to make some joggers. She's like, don't buy them. You look terrible in joggers. Like, lose 50 pounds and we'll talk. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, that's...
She said it nicer than that. I don't want to, like, sue her, my wife.
Yeah,
but that
emotionally
was...
abused here.
No, you read between the lines. That's what she was saying.
I've definitely I've made some purchases. I'm like, these will look good. And I saw this meme the other day, and it was just like this little pug bulldog standing on its hind legs, and like all of its like center mass had like dropped to the point of its hips, and then it's got these like little tiny peen legs. And the caption was like, every 40-year-old dude trying to wear their skinny jeans again. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, that is 100% me. Yeah, I boxed myself out of a bit of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, you know, maybe there'll be a renaissance.
Oh yeah. We need to like start yogging with your brother.
Yo, he yogs hard.
Yeah, I know. Actually, let's not start with that because I feel like he's way out of our... Let's just start... I'm going to try and make it down the street to like Aaron's house.
Yeah. drink 10 beers. No, I'm with that. Yeah, maybe, you know what? Stay tuned. Maybe a Rad Dad Fitness Challenge coming up. Ooh. You know, we had tossed that idea around.
We had, yeah.
I think the issue is like commitment, fervor, rigor.
I've tried fitness challenges on my own and the don't go well. Maybe I need like a little bit of like accountability to the podcast.
Accountability to the podcast, like the listener group, but also like I think we make it real with like something tangible. Like,
I think we should do like a combine, like an NFL combine type thing where you do the standing jump and like the 40-yard dash and stuff and just see like test ourselves, see like what we can do.
And then we're just trying to like improve our metrics.
Yeah.
And like highest percentage.
Like that can be our starting point, see where we're at in a few weeks.
That.
Yeah.
Everyone
then also maybe get NFL contracts and leave this all behind.
Man, I've
got a lineman body for sure.
I'm O-line for sure. I've had like a long-standing daydream that like I'll just like discover that I'm really good at a sport. And that like, yeah, I'm still just waiting to get drafted.
Going back to golf is like, I still have this like idea that if I just golf enough, I could maybe not go like pro, but I could like really compete in some amateur tournaments, which is like, I have friends that are very good at golf and are, you know, amateurs, and there's absolutely no way I could possibly compete with them. But I still have it in my mind that I could do that if I just dedicated myself a little bit. And I know that's not true, but I understand where you're coming from.
I don't think that's not true. Actually, Shano, emailer fan number 1, I'm almost certain, fact check pending, that his dad is just like he's one of those dudes that like lives a lifestyle and just can golf all the time and just has been for years, and like on certain courses is a scratch golfer and just like kept up with it to the point that when he turned of age he was like golfing well enough to join like the seniors CPGA or whatever you fucking call it. Like you're just like you did it long enough. Actually, bring it back to my brother. Like he growing up was like never like a very like he didn't play hockey when we were in high school. He did like main stage and shit. But he just like adopted it again as an adult, and he plays like 2-3 times a week. And like when we were kids, I was like playing a ton of hockey and I was good. And I go and play with him now, and I'm like, I'm about to sell these skates. Like I suck. These guys way like I can't play. And it's just like that consistency. Like, it's a thing. You could do it. I don't think we're getting drafted, but there's potentially some sports accomploments in our future. In your future.
Let's take that away for our discussion sesh.
Yeah, I like it, man.
Future episode. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we had a good chat.
Play that wrap it up jingle.
The same one that I always play.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Do check out the merch store if you were interested in getting some of that stuff. We're not making a whole lot of money off of it. It's really just it's fan service. So check it out.
Yeah, by request, BajaLife.style. And don't forget, July 22nd at Big Beaver Brewing in Okotoks. We are going to be putting on a little bit of a variety show for the Okotoks Food Bank. $1 off every beer sold goes to the food bank. There's going to be silent auction items from a bunch of local businesses. And my main man, Dex, going up, doing his world premiere stand-up comedy routine.
Yeah, I got to get out to an open mic night.
Our good friend Ben Marsh is going to be strumming the strings, making you feel all kinds of ways with his guitar. And of course, Geese of Natural Ensemble, our dude, gonna close it out with a real good, sexy set. So mark your calendars. Make sure you come out to that. And thanks for listening, guys.
Have a good one.
Listen to the next show for an investigative masterpiece as the guys test the capacity of the local sewer system by flushing a box of Costco baby wipes down the toilet in a Tim Hortons bathroom.